Welcome everyone to the draft model tutorial. I'm going to take you through how to use the draft model for draft day. So just want to thank you for stopping by. Thank you for purchasing this or taking a look. If you haven't purchased it, the link is down here at www.draftmodel.com and it will be on each page, so pretty easy to remember. But I do want to say thank you for coming, and today's just going to be tutorial. I'm just going to take you through what we do have and show you just kind of how it works and how to use it. Now, there's three primary tabs, as you can see here. You have league settings, you have projections, you have your draft board. Alright? Those are the three things that we're going to be hitting. And I'm going to start at just the first page, the league settings. This is where you have all the information of your league. You're going to input into these white boxes, okay? So all the white boxes are boxes that you will input, and as you can see, everything pretty much speaks for itself. The number of teams, what draft pick position you are, how many points everything is. You can just go in, you manually change it, and the computer system will update everything to reflect those numbers. Now, what I mean by the computer will update to reflect those numbers is based off of these projections, okay? So these total projections will output this number that you see right here for each player based off of experts' opinions, okay? And these experts decide how much yardage and all this stuff each player is going to have, and then we take all those numbers and then have these be the multiplying factors for those players. Now, you can change what experts we're pulling from, the data from. You have ESPN, you have CBS, Fantasy Football Today, and then if you like all of them, you think they're all good, you can do an average of all three of them, okay? So we'll do ESPN for right now, or actually let's just do an average of all of them. And we'll take this and then we'll do a standard league, so instead of 1 point per reception, we'll do 0. I know some leagues have a half point per reception or 1 point per reception, so PPR league. But for the most part, everything else is pretty standard. Standard numbers: 1 point for 25 yards, 10, 10. 6 points for a passing and rushing TD, and 4 points for a passing TD. So all that's standard. Now let's see how many starters at each position. The importance of this box right here and this box right here is this will give the simulation. It will simulate the best team that you can pick at that spot with that many teams going through, with this many positions that you need to fill, or this many positions that people are going to take. So it's pretty robust system, which is cool, and all you need to do is just insert numbers of how many people are in your league and what position you are. I find this draft pick position the most beneficial because most of the time you don't know what position you're going to be until an hour before the draft. And once you know that, it's kind of hard to get all your stuff together. Well, I go in 10 seconds before the draft and I hit, I'm position 8, and my model automatically simulates what's the best team I can draft at position 8 with the 12-man team. So let's just do 10 people, and we're draft pick position 10. Okay, just keep it simple, all right? This is the number of starters at each position. You have 1 QB. Normally you have two running back starters, 2 wide receiver starters, a tight end, and then a flex. And to reflect the flex position, we're doing just a running back, wide receiver, flex. If you want to add it, if your league has a tight end that can go in the flex, you can select that as 2. But for us right now, we're just doing 1 flex position, and we add it add one to every position that could be available for that flex, just so that it takes into account all those positions when it's trying to tell you the best one to choose. Now, this projections page, this is going to be all the raw data basically, and this is going to be all the experts' numbers, okay? And then what their suggested average draft round is, which is based off of your draft position uniquely. But if you don't like certain players of the projections that these experts have, but you want to utilize all the other work that they did, you can go in and manually input numbers for those players that you think are better. So for Aaron Rodgers, I say, okay, he's not going to get 335. He's going to be the 10th best QB this season. So I'm going to say he's, 270. All right, that's his projection. Well, now the model thinks that Aaron Rodgers' total point projection is going to be 270, and it'll, instead of trying to tell you to draft Aaron Rodgers, it'll tell you to draft Drew Brees if all of these 4 guys are taken. 3 guys are taken. So that lets you have some unique control if you want to put players higher than the other or lower than the other. We'll just go with the standard and go to the draft board. Okay, the draft board is where you'll spend all your time. This is going to be, let me zoom out here real quick. This is going to be where you spend on draft day. You don't need to move from this tab. We made it purely able to be simulated from just this tab, so you don't need to move. And I'll just go over each of the boxes. You have the player selected. This is just going to tell you what player you selected, what position they are, and what round. So the player's name, the position, and then what round they were picked in. This tells you the best players available in each round at each position. So if Andrew Luck gets picked, it would be Aaron Rodgers' name that would show up next. And then it gives you the points for that respective player. So 344 for Andrew Luck, 248 for Jamal Charles, 215 for Antonio Brown, 170 for Rob Gronkowski. So those are pretty standard. You don't need to mess with these boxes. Those are just for you to look at and for you to kind of gauge everything. Now this box you'll spend a lot of your time looking at to kind of gauge what your next pick's going to be. This all updates real time, so as your position is drawing near and people are drafting people, this will update with each person that's drafted. So this is your top 10 permutations, which is your top 10 possibilities, okay? Your top 10 best possibilities of a team that you can choose. And it will tell you so for each round, it outputs a position. It says which position has the best player for you to choose in comparison to the next best player of that position. And it does that for all the positions, and it says, okay, right now it's best to take a running back in the first round. So this number right here at the bottom where it says 10 running backs, that's telling you how risky it is to deviate from the plan. So if it's saying take 10 out of all the top 10, it says take a running back, and you're taking a wide receiver, it's more risky, okay? You're banking on something else happening in the season. So this just tells you, so for example, as of right now, if all players that are available were available, I would draft a running back, receiver. Now, the round 4, 5, 6, and 7, I could kind of choose, go between a tight end or a QB or a wide receiver. I could go between, this is kind of more lets me choose which one without it being as risky, okay? Now, still, the number that it outputs is going to be the safest position to choose. It's just telling you how much risk there is in deviating from the plan. Now, that's just the background. Here, this is telling you when your next, up here, this is telling you when your next turn is. This is telling you what the current pick position is. And then this is telling you what the recommended pick is. And it will highlight green when it's your turn. So it's pretty easy. here's some instructions that you can read during it, so you don't have to watch this whole video again. But anyways, okay, so we'll just go through like 2 rounds or so of this to show you how it works. When people are drafting, as they select a player, all you have to do is just delete the X. So let's say first round Jamaal Charles is picked, okay, and then we're pick 10. So we're pick 10. So I'm just gonna delete 9 players until it gets to our turn, okay. 3, 4, 5. Let's do 1, 2, 3, and then let's say Andrew Luck. 5. Okay, so it's our pick. All right, highlight screen. Our turn. My pick. Round 1. Take a running back, and it's saying take Adrian Peterson as your running back. So when it's your turn, all you do next to the player that you want is you put the number of the round that you're in or that you're drafting him in. So Adrian Peterson, round 1. All right, our turn again. So it's saying take Dez Bryant in round 2. I'm going to look over here. 8 wide receivers. So it's pretty good to take Dez Bryant. So I'm going to do 2 for round 2. And then you go back around. As you can see up here, it outputs Adrian Peterson, so you know you have 1 running back. Dez Bryant, so you know you have 1 wide receiver. These numbers lock in, telling you which position you draft and with which player you drafted. Okay? So those are locked in, and it just adds them up for you. And then as you go through deleting numbers, deleting the X's of players that are selected, and it gets to your turn, just keep doing this, and then boom, your turn again. And so that's basically all you have to do. It's pretty simple. Just delete X's and put in the number of the round with which you selected the player in next to the player that you selected. Okay? So delete the X's and input the round numbers. And then it outputs it, and it's going to give you the team that's going to take you to the championship. So I wish you the best of luck in your leagues. And again, go to www.draftmodel.com to go and purchase this if you haven't already. And if you have purchased it, thank you so much for purchasing it. And we look forward to working with you and sending you updated models as new information comes out with these players.